Okay, so before I begin this video, I want to tell you something about these chocolate morsels. This is Enjoy Life. They have allergen-free. You can see all the different allergies that this is made from a good facility, and those are free from those allergies. And it does have cane sugar, and that means that what I made is not going to be keto friendly. But I would have used these had I had the 2 bags and looked at it a little bit better. So these are Lily's baking chips. There's no sugar added. There is erythritol, and your total carbs 8 minus the 3. That would give you 5 grams of carbs. So it's a good replacement if you want to make the keto friendly turtles that I'm going to show you in this video. So I just want to point that out, that you want to use the Lily's brand and not the Enjoy Life, unless you need this for the allergen free. So that is the story there. Hi everyone, welcome back to Diener's Diner. Today we're going to be making caramel turtles, but not just any turtles. These are keto friendly turtles. So let's get going. We are going to start by taking some wax paper or parchment, and we're just going to cover 2 trays. So I've got 2 trays covered up here. For my nuts, I've got some pecan halves that we'll be using. We'll be laying these down on the tray. And I also am going to use some whole cashews to make them a little bit different. For our sweetener, we're going to be using allulose. Allulose is a great sugar substitute, and it will brown when you use it. So it's not like monk fruit that doesn't really brown. And erythritol is similar to monk fruit, so you're not going to get that browning that you would when you brown sugar. So that's why we're using allulose. And you could use xylitol, but xylitol is very deadly to animals, so I just keep it out of my house because, well, my little puppy likes to eat dark chocolate raisins, and that was a very expensive 3-day vet visit, so we won't go there. Anyways, moving on. For our chocolate, I have some, they're called Enjoy Life. These are the mini chips, and I think that one is 10 ounces. And the other one is just regular morsels, and this was 9 ounces. And that gave me a total of 3 cups of chocolate chips, and that's what we want. Also, we'll be using, I kind of moved that around, but it is 2/3 of a cup of heavy whipping cream. So let's get started and lay the nuts out on our sheet. So I went ahead and started laying out my pecans here, just on a tray, just in a crisscross motion. And then I'm working on the cashews. So I'm just putting them in clumps of kind of circling around each other in a sense. Not really any real, thing to it. I'm just putting them down and making like a little cluster, really. So I'm going to continue finishing this tray. So I have the 2 trays done, and you can see that I started by putting a cluster about 4 of the cashews together. And I might change that. I did change it down here and only put like 3 together just to see, do we really need 4? And you do whatever you want. You could just put nuts all over. You could crush these up if you wanted to and just lay them on the tray and put your caramel over that and chocolate over that. It's whatever you want to do, but today I'm just deciding to do something different. Make it look a little bit more professional, something like that. So that's why I'm doing that. Let's get started with melting this 1 stick of butter. All right, I've got a saucepan here, and I got the 1 stick of butter, and I'm just going to put that in there. We're going to turn this on low, and we're going to wait for a buttery aroma, a rich aroma that's going to come out of the butter, and we're just going to brown it slightly. So we want to get this butter browned slightly. So we're going to put this on low and let that brown. And you can see that the butter is dissolved. So now we're just going to let it brown a little bit. I did bring over the 1 cup of the allulose sweetener, and I brought over the 2/3 of the cup of the heavy cream. And we're going to need a whisk to whisk this stuff in, so you might want to get that prepared. Also, I did leave out 1 important ingredient, and that is we're going to use a pinch of the sea salt. So I can hear it bubbling right now, so that's going to burn it or brown it. Don't want to burn it. And we'll let that keep going. So I did go ahead and turn the heat up a little bit. It is taking a while to brown, so I don't want to burn it, but I also want it to move along. So, patience. I will turn it back down a little bit. All right, you can see it has browned up a bit. So now we're going to add our low-carb sweetener. Once again, this is allulose, so I'm going to put this in. And I'm going to add a pinch of salt. And I'm just going to stir that in. And then I'm going to whisk it real well to get that sugar dissolved. You can see the browning that's in the pan there. Whoop, maybe I'm covering it up. Once my sweetener is dissolved, then I will add in the heavy whipping cream, which is only 2/3 of a cup. Okay. All right, we're going to add in this. We're going to pour the cream in. I'm following a recipe in case you can't tell. And we're going to whisk it until it forms a cohesive mixture. So we just want to incorporate it all, get it all mixed together. It's not separated. And no, I've never made this before, so you're with me on the journey. Then we're going to let it sit and cook on a medium-low heat, and we're not going to touch it. I'm still going to mix it in, though. I want it to be all incorporated in there. Nothing, no chunks of sugar or butter. Hopefully you can see that okay. There's some chunks in there yet. Let's get that all mixed up. Move your pan around to find those chunks. Okay, I gotta get this on a medium-low heat once it is all dissolved. Just kind of move it around, see if it's dissolved or not yet. And keep whisking it. We want it to be all mixed. Sorry for all the noise that the pan on the stove is making. I know it's rather loud. And let's take a look at it again. Oh, we're almost there. Get that all incorporated. I think we're almost there. All right. That smells really good. Okay, now we're going to leave it on medium to low heat, and we're not going to touch it. And this is going to cook for about 6 to 8 minutes. So medium low, and we won't touch it for 6 to 8 minutes. We're not going to whisk it until we remove it from the heat. So we're going to let that do that thing for 6 to 8 minutes. And you can see we're just letting it sit here on the medium to low heat, and I'm not going to whisk it. So once it's been about 6 to 8 minutes, this is thickening up, then we can whisk it. We're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes before we add it to the pecans. So we still have about 6 minutes to go to let this cook. And you can see the edges, there is some bubbles coming up. but we're not going to touch it. It's hard to resist. But we can do this. Let it thicken up. So I told you I was following a recipe, and the recipe that I've got is from a place called Bon Appetit, which is a pretty cute name. So we'll see how this goes. Gets a little scary when you're wondering how that's doing in there and you really can't do anything. So I've set my timer. I've got about 3 minutes left. And we'll just keep an eye on it. Some things are definitely worth waiting for. And we are about 3 minutes. This just started puffing up just like when you do regular caramel. I did turn it down a hair. So I'm just going to let it keep doing its thing. That's a little scary. I did turn it down, like I said. So it will puff up. And I'm thinking I can probably remove this from the heat pretty quick. It says I've got about 1 minute and 49 seconds left. So I'll give it 1 more minute. Oh, it's nice and caramely. So this should be really tasty, really true looking as a caramel that you would find that isn't keto friendly. So interesting. I can have my cake and eat it too, in a sense. Well, it has kind of simmered down. So I'm guessing that my time is up here, and I am going to, I can remove it from the heat. And it's more of a liquid right now, so I don't know if that's even going to pan out. But we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes before we add it to our pecans and the cashews. All right, I'll put my timer on for 5 minutes and we'll just let it sit. All right, it has been the allotted time we needed, 5 minutes. So now I've got it's a measuring spoon. It's just 2 teaspoons. I'm going to take that and I'm just going to pour it over the pecans, and it's runny. And then I'm going to put it in my refrigerator to let it set up, because it does need time to set up. I hope you can all see this. And I don't know however long that's going to be that I need to let this set, but I will keep an eye on it and the time and come back and tell you what approximate time that was sitting. And it smells so yummy. Definitely smells like caramel. So I knew that this was going to be a little bit harder because it was going to be runny, but I'm going to give it a try, let it thicken up, and we'll do our best with it. And after this is all thickened and we have these set, then we will be melting our chocolate and adding that on top. So stay tuned. When you're setting up your nuts on the sheet, you want to get them close enough so that when you pour the caramel on, they're going to stay together. Well, that is my hope anyways. No, that one needs to be put on there a little bit better. So I'll just move those around, and now, whoops, I got one more set to do. I will get these in my refrigerator to let them set up. All right, so I've got those in the refrigerator, and since I've got a bit of caramel here left, I am going to just take some of these nuts here, and I'm just going to cut them up a bit And then I'm going to put them on another tray that I've got some wax paper on. And I'm just going to spread them on. And I'm going to pour the caramel over. And so they'll just be, well, kind of like one piece, I guess. Unless I put them into a spoon size mixture. So maybe I'll just do that. Use a spoon, kind of put this spoon the nuts down. And then pour spoonfuls of the caramel sauce over the top. So you can do this any way you like, but I just didn't want the sauce to harden up while I was waiting for the other trays to harden up in the refrigerator. All right, you can see my impromptu setup here. So I'm just gonna pour some caramel over each one. I don't know how much I'm gonna get on here, but we'll just give it a try, see how it goes. All right, so it looks like I'm out of caramel. I'm just going to put the rest of the nuts in the pan and see what I can't get out of there. If I can't get some of the nuts mixed in with the caramel in the pan, just kind of using up the last of it. And, you know, it might not be enough on there, but it really doesn't matter. We're still going to put some chocolate in there, so I'm just going to mix this up in here. Try to use up all that is in the pan, all of it, so that it's not wasted. And I might be even able to take a little bit from some of these other ones that are a little bit more than necessary on the tray. So, you know, just a little note. You can do it this however you want. Make it yours. There's no rules or regulations. All right, so it's kind of just patted down in there. And so I'm just going to make this into a couple clusters. We'll get them in there. Voila. All right, so I'm just going to shape this together a little bit. There is caramel on this. It's just not thick like the rest of it. And I'm going to go put this in another area that I have cold storage. Okay, it's been about a half hour since I put the trays in the refrigeration, and so now I'm going to melt my chocolate. I'm going to put this in for 30 seconds and stir, then 30 seconds and stir until it is done. All right, I took these out of the refrigerator, so you can see they set up rather nice. My chocolate is still melting, and I've got the other tray, the bigger tray with the crushed nuts in another cooling area, so those will be coming out shortly. And this is the second of the 30 seconds each that I've got in the microwave, and you can see it is melting rather nice. I don't know how many minutes it's going to take in total, but it doesn't matter as long as it's nice and thin that we can put it on our pecans. Okay, so because I'm not going to waste the caramel that's sitting here and it's just going to be caramel, I went and took some more nuts and I'm just pressing them into the caramel. So some of these won't be perfect looking clusters like I wanted, but I really don't care. I don't want to use up, I'd like to use up the nuts and make more with the caramels that is on the tray instead of basically, you know, not really wasting the caramel, but I hope you get my drift there. So, and some of these that have the pecans on, I will add a few more of the pecans. Pecans. So, they're not going to be perfect like I wanted them to be, but it really doesn't matter. And my chocolate is in the microwave, ready to be stirred. I better attend to it. All right, my turtles have multiplied, and that's okay by me. Okay, my chocolate is melted. I need to find my spoon. All right, let's get this drizzled on here somehow. Remember, this is keto-friendly chocolate. There's no sugar. And I'm just going to do something like that. Not too much, not too little. Oh my. I suppose you could just sprinkle it across too. I'm trying to more glob it on, if you will. Either way, they're going to be fabulous. So much for presentation. But I know everybody will love them. And hopefully my chocolate won't get too hard before I get finished with all this. Like I said, do whatever you like. You know, as much or as little as you'd like. There is no right or wrong. And if you're eating a healthy lifestyle, this is a great alternative to basically corn syrup. So if you haven't checked out other videos on keto-friendly foods or meals, I encourage you to do so. You know, there's keto pills, there's keto powders, there's keto bread, keto buns. But if you cook keto, and if you do intermittent fasting, you too can do those wonderful things and live the keto lifestyle or low carb lifestyle. Make it a lifestyle. Don't make it just a diet, because a diet is, you know, who wants to stick to a diet? All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Got about, 1, 2, 3, 4 more, actually 5 more caramels, or yeah, nuts and caramels. So, wow, that worked out really well. I could add more chocolate to some of these that I didn't add enough, because I really didn't know how much chocolate I would have in order to put on here. So I'm just going to go over some of these that needs a little bit more. And drizzle it on, use it all up. You don't want to waste this goodness. And once I'm done here, I'm going to put these in the freezer and let them harden up, and we'll be back for a taste test.
These are cool, huh?
All right, so I am done with the chocolate, and some of this is still kind of soft, the caramel setting. So I am going to put these in the freezer, and we will see how they are after that. All right, let's get back to this Enjoy Life. So these are not keto friendly. They are made out of cane sugar, but there is something good about them because they have 14 ingredients that is allergen free, and they are wheat, peanuts, tree nuts, dairy, casein, soy, egg, sesame, mustard, lupine, added sulfates, fish sulfate, or crustaceans. Just so you know. Well, you can see that it's the next day. I did leave these in the freezer overnight, and I just am packaging them up in the containers. I'll show you a little trick. You can take the parchment or the wax paper that you have, just cut it apart and set those inside your container. As for the caramels, let's give them a taste. Remember, they're not keto friendly because of the chocolate that I used. The sugar, yes, but or the turtle sauce, the caramel is keto friendly, just not the chocolate. So make sure you use Lily's. All right, let's give it a taste. And I will say the caramel didn't set up to be hard, which I like because I don't want to break a tooth. Very tasty. delectable. You're going to love them. So, if you're looking for something different, give this a try. Hope you enjoyed the video.